What's going on, everybody? We're about a day and a half away from one of the biggest MCOC events of the year, Cyber Weekend. If this is your first Cyber Weekend at MCOC, well, here's what you can expect. Big offers, big deals. I'm not saying you should buy them all or anything like that. We'll get to the exact offers, like I said, a day and a half from now, because we don't know what they are. But what I'm really curious about is what's the difference between spending and not spending in this game? Now, for Cyber Weekend, it's going to be pretty obvious. Either you get the offers or you don't. That's the difference. But what about the average month? What about the over the course of the years that you could have been potentially playing this game? So what I'm going to do is compare myself, one of the higher, free-to-play players in the game, compared to my good buddy, my alliance mate, my fellow YouTuber, Enzo. What a lovely human being Enzo is, man. I can't say that about a ton of people in this world, but I can wholeheartedly say, Enzo, what a gem. The inspiration behind my Unzo account as well. And he has compiled a spreadsheet of every single thing that he spent on for the month of September. And he actually posted this video about 2 months ago, which I'm going to link in the description so you could hear Enzo's side of things. But he's also been kind enough to share the spreadsheet so that we can take a closer look and see exactly what Enzo's spending on and exactly what he's gotten for those things, and a nice summary that we can dig through at the end as well. And just to give another quick little overview of the difference between Enzo's account and my account, if we take a look at the leaderboard for the total base hero rating, just a quick overview of our rosters essentially in terms of numbers. Well, you can see I'm rank 2000 about, and Enzo is rank 37. His total base hero rating is 4.1 million. Mine is about 2.9 million. Enzo's prestige is about 14,200, whereas I am just below 13,000 myself. Oh man, I just need one more good prestige champion. That's going to change, but still not quite there yet. I've been that way for quite a while. In terms of overall rank ups, I have 15 champions that are rank 3, no rank 4s, but 15 that are rank 3, 3 of which are still unawakened at the moment. And I have some more coming soon, but they're not quite there yet. You can see Fury here, he's still rank 2, and everyone below Fury, all rank 2, of course. So 15 champs at rank 3. If you had to guess, just think of a number in your head for Enzo. I should have said this at the beginning, but he spent about $2,000 for the month of September, which again, we're going to dig into a little bit closer, but he says on average, that's approximately what he spends every month, is about $2,000. So how many champions do you think he would have at rank 3 or higher? The number is, drumroll please, 53. He's got 53 champions, a quarter of all 6-star champs in the game he has at rank 3 or higher, with the one rank 4 being Dr. Doom that he has. That is a massive difference, 53 compared to 15. Now, I do have, some crystals and things like that I could pop open. I have a few quests that are intentionally left incomplete at the moment that will give me some more, tier 5 class catalysts and things like that. But it's not just about tier 5 class catalysts. If that was the only difference, then I don't know how many more I could get. I would say maybe I can get upwards of 25 at most or something. But as we all know, this game is not just about one catalyst or even all of the catalysts needed to rank up a champion. It's about having the right champion, having a champ that's going to make an impact on your progression. And if you don't have that champion, well, then why use the resources? And unfortunately, due to lack of Sig Stones, is the biggest limiting factor still for me, as for whether or not these champs are even useful. Best example being Omega Red, a champ that I've been fortunate enough to pull 3 times and I ranked up, but I can't actually play the champ. He's worse than my 5-star version of the champion, so it doesn't make sense to even play him. So yeah, I'm still ranking up 5-star champs in some cases to help me get through some content. But that's just kind of a quick overview. Let's actually dig into what Enzo is spending all this money on, and just on a monthly overview, the difference that he's getting compared to someone that's not spending. So let's see. Just starting from the top here, we could see that $60 was spent on a monthly card. And it looks like this card gave some tier 6 basic fragments, working towards that next rank 4 already. Some sig stones, some tier 5. I mean, we're not going to look into, we'll look more about when we get to the overview. We'll look at more of that stuff. But just to go through day by day, that was not even the only thing spent on September 1st. It was also the What If Mythic bundle, What If Cav, the Skill Daily. This was $100 on the Kitty Early Access Cavs, 60 on the Kitty Early Grandmaster, 120 on the Mythic Fist to Face. I don't even know what that is, but I'm guessing it was some bundle. Looks like the daily is picked up every day here, just the daily cav, which, I mean, if you're spending, yeah, this is definitely a better thing to spend on, right? It's a lot cheaper than just buying the cavs normally, right? So yeah, I could see that being a daily thing. $50. By the way, I should say this too. Dude, like I said, I love Enzo, and I have nothing against people spending. So hopefully this is none of this is coming off in any sort of negative light. I just think that the data is really interesting, so that's why we're going through it. But $50 on the Pool-tastic deal. We got some more dailies, What If bundles again. Just $100 just for some units. You could see here $500 on for Odin's for the kitty calves. So that was a big part of the month. You can see this is what I also find to be pretty interesting, is that just like the going through the spenders habits, where yeah, there's little purchases here or there, and I say little kind of loosely because some of these are not that little, but there's definitely some of the smaller purchases. But then you can see how extreme it is when a new champion comes out that's a highly sought after champion. Boom, there's $500. And this is why Kabam, even though I think it's done a lot of harm and a lot of damage to the game by not having any sort of limitations on how many cav crystals someone can purchase, it's kind of taken the gap between spenders and non-spenders and just chucked a mountain's worth of dynamite in there and blown that gap wide open by having an essentially unlimited potential spending. This is not something that Kabam's going to change anytime soon, because this is where a huge portion of their money comes from, is just when these cav crystals come out for champs that are good. But then we got more dailies. We got the Nimrod early cav bundle, a unit store deal here. We've got Ascendant crystals, which give potential for, wow, look at this. This was a lot of tier 5 basic fragments. I'm not sure if these ones gave the potential for tier 6 or something, but some of them definitely do. The Sigil, some tier 5 class catalyst bundle. And Mojo Vision bundle down here, and that's kind of where things end. Just a lot of the dailies, giving a total of this for the difference for about $2,000. This was some tier 6 basic, 6.5 tier 5 basic. By the way, this is in addition to what Enzo's getting from just playing the game. This is just from the offers themselves. 26-star sig stones, which I was actually surprised that it wasn't that many sig stones. Seems like even if you're willing to spend, it's hard to get actual sig stones, or hard to get a quantity that would feel like it'd be like an unlimited amount to use or something. But as we see here, looking at like the 6 stars that were acquired, you can see here that he got 6 stars Sorcerer Supreme twice. So essentially that's an additional 40 sigs, whereas Sorcerer Supreme, that's one of my top champions, and I'm still investing sig stones into this champion, whereas that would be just like another 46 stones right there. So even though the difference in sig stones between spending and not spending might not be that extreme, just from opening up 141 cav crystals and getting all the different 6 stars here, all that stuff, it really adds up. I'm not sure how many max sigs Enzo has. If I had to guess, I put a question out to my alliance, but I think Enzo was sleeping by the time I put it out, unfortunately. But just judging by everyone else's answers, I would say Enzo probably has about 11 champions at max sig, roughly. But then plenty others that are probably, decently high sig, maybe sig 80, sig 100 or something like that, compared to only my top few champions being high sig, not even max sig yet, none that are max sig yet. And then every other champ that is awakened, they're either going to be, sig 20, maybe I've got a few at sig 40 if we go through here. I'm not sure if there's any that are naturally sig 60. There might be one or something. Maybe Cable, honestly. I've pulled that dude so many times. This dude might be sig 60. Sig 80. Look at that, man. Dude, natural sig 80. This has to be the number one champ that I've pulled the most as 6-star easily. So yeah, I do have one of those at least. But, of course, opening up this kind of quantity of calves each month, that's going to lead to just a lot more 6-stars here. But you can see an additional 40,000 6-star shards, of which I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and watch the video again, which again, I'm going to link in the description so you guys can check out for yourselves as well, Enzo's side of things. But I don't think that these 40,000 6-star shards were part of this. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. But and then here's another thing that really stood out to me, which is the 30% green boost, the biggest boost in the game. Enzo got 52 of them for the month. Now, if you think about, because one of the reasons why Enzo was even compiling this information was just to try to see, like, okay, what is the difference and how important is it to spend, like, what do you gain from it and stuff like that. And I would say this is a huge difference. It's a 30% boost here, because looking at all this stuff, 99.9% of people would say, for $2,000, no, there's no way that would be worth it. Just because, that's a lot of money, right, for most people. And on a progression side of things, you'd think, oh, that's not that big of a difference. But man, some of the differences are a little bit obscured here. So, we'd look at boosts and say, well, that's not permanent progression, right? But let's think about Alliance War for a moment. In a typical season, we've got 12 wars. Now, at most, the absolute most that you'd have to boost in an individual war would be 3 separate times. Not even every time, not even every war you're doing this, but let's just say 3 separate times you'd be boosting, right? Every single war of the season, that'll be 36 times you'd be boosting up. With 52 of these 30% boosts, that means every single war fight that you're doing would have a 30% boost attached to it. And then you have plenty of other boosts to use for other content, like questing, even Alliance quest, even the arena. There's been a lot of times where I don't grind the arena because I'm not running the suicide masteries. And if I had the spare boosts, that would make up the difference in suicide masteries. It'd make it so much faster regardless of the mastery setup that you're running, which I thought was interesting. But even just from an Alliance War perspective, one of the biggest focuses of an end game player, not every player, not every end game player, but when you've completed all the content in the game, Alliance War, that's one of the main focuses. So being able to have that sort of an advantage, that exceeds any sort of roster advantage, where I might pop like 1 or 2 at most 30% boosts for the entire season. And most of my boosting is the mid-range, the 20% boost, which it's a big difference. It definitely is a big difference. It's essentially giving your champions an additional rank higher than what I'm able to get. So yeah, actually that is a huge difference, the boost there. Another thing that I found really interesting watching Enzo's video is that he said one of the biggest limitations is tier 4 class catalysts. So I was trying to think, like, well, what other type of player has the biggest bottleneck of tier 4 class catalysts? And it would be like uncollected level players, or players approaching uncollected even, you know. I mean, I think all players, we could always use more catalysts of all types, right? But it's just funny that, you know, looking at things here, Enzo's pulling in an additional, you know, 33.5 tier 2 alpha, 33 tier 2 alpha from the spending, you know, 6.5 additional tier 5 basic. He said it was a light month for tier 5 class catalysts, so only got 30% of one of those. But like, how do you even use all these tier 2 alpha if you can only get this many extra tier 4 class catalysts? So I just found that to be really interesting, that Enzo is likely picking up a lot of tier 4 class catalysts from the Glory Store and, yeah, you know, anywhere else that he can to try to keep up with using some of these other resources. Fortunately for Enzo, with the, you know, once you get your 6-star champions to a certain rank, to get the champs to rank 4, to get the champs to rank 4, you no longer actually need tier 4 class catalysts. So that's likely why Kabam has it balanced this way, because yeah, they realize that, okay, players at a certain stage, tier 4 class catalysts, they're not going to be useful. So they don't really need to offer up nearly as many. But just thought it was interesting that, you know, there might be this range of players, let's say, you know, like Uncollected, Cavalier, Thronebreaker, and like Big Spender, Thronebreaker, where the players who are uncollected and the players who are, you know, Extreme Spender, Thronebreakers, they're held back by the same resource, whereas the players somewhere in the middle, maybe they're held back by a different resource, and tier 4 class catalyst, they have a plentiful amount or something. I thought it was interesting. Okay, when we come down to the units, so Enzo's getting 25,000 units a month on average here. And, you know, the bulk of this did go towards the Cavalier crystals, but the units, they also go towards other things, of course. And there is one thing that I will say in Enzo's video, because he was comparing to, you know, my own acquisition of these resources and things like that. He did say on average that I'm getting like 2,000 units a month, which I would say is a little bit low. I can get upwards of 2,000 units a week if I'm, you know, really dedicated, hitting every single milestone in the arena, which I don't do every single week, not even close to every single week. So I actually range between about 2,000 and 8,000 units a month, just depending on, you know, how much I'm grinding for that month. So it was a little bit off if you watched the video, but still, this is a huge amount higher than what I'm getting. If maybe we'll just take it somewhere in the middle and say, on average, maybe I get about 4,000 units a month. That sounds about right, about 50,000 units a year. Whereas Enzo's pulling in, you know, half of my yearly unit earnings just in a month. And this is just from what he spends on, actually. So Enzo, he does grind the arena, you know, of course, not as much as I do, but he does grind the arena a bit, and, you know, pulls in units from other areas of the game, monthly event quests and things like that too. So this isn't even the total amount of units. This is just units from spending. And then, you know, again, this is the stuff that's been acquired from, you know, the Cav crystals and stuff. So just to go through that real quick, 6-star Nexus, 6-star Aegon, 6-star Penny, 5-star Penny, 5-star Kitty, 6-star Rolk, 5-star Nimrod, Sorcerer Supreme, Sim Supreme, Phoenix, Nightcrawler, Civil Warrior, Sorcerer Supreme, Venompool, Longshot, another 6-star Nexus. The amount of additional 6-stars that come in just from opening up the Cav crystals, it's a really big deal. And you might look at some of these champs and say, like, okay, well, 6-star Nightcrawler, maybe that's not having the biggest impact on, you know, progression or something like that, or 6-star Phoenix maybe is a better example. But, you know, when's that 6-star Phoenix, when's the Phoenix buff coming? It's probably going to come at some point, right? So, you know, champs that might have otherwise, like Venompool, might have seemed like duds, like a pull that doesn't impact progression. It definitely does. It definitely does. Or just the way that the game is evolving soon here, where, like, you know, again, looking at the difference in how this impacts day-to-day gameplay, you might think of something like Alliance War and say, well, it doesn't matter that Enzo has, 53 champs at rank 3 or higher, because you can only bring in 8 at most, right? 5 on defense, 3 for offense. But when champs are going to be banned soon, having that flexibility, I mean, having the flexibility already is a big deal, and having access to the newer champions, which on average with the, the just power creep in games, on average, the newer champs are going to be slightly stronger than champs that were released years ago. Of course, not always the case with champs like Dr. Doom being released a couple years ago at this point, and he still is one of the most dominant champs in the game, or Ghost or Quake or whatever. But just having access to some of these champions that are being designed as counters to some of the existing strong champs in the game, and the boosts and all that stuff, and the upcoming solo competitive mode where we need to bring in 30 champions instead of just 8. We're bringing 30 champs, and I only have 15 and at rank 3, and not all of these 15 are even really playable for a mode like that. The difference, I feel like it was already a pretty big difference between free to play and spending, and I feel like that difference is just going to be widening more and more and more as time goes on. So $2,000 a month, again, for 99.9% of players, that's going to just be way too much money, right? And it might seem like, oh yeah, this is not even that big of a difference when you think about it. But this is just for 1 month, and all that stuff adds up and is continuing to add up over time. So it actually does end up being a pretty big difference at the end of the day. Now, it doesn't mean that Enzo and I can't still play together. We are still playing together. Alliances are made up and kind of averaged out between all players, and at the end of the day, this is a game where you just have fun with it. You don't have to necessarily, even if you want to be competitive, you don't necessarily have to be the number one best player or something like that to have fun. So it definitely does impact my enjoyment of the game at certain points. Just thinking about, like, am I gonna have 30 champs to bring into that new game mode? Definitely does weigh on me a little bit, but at the end of the day, yeah, I could still totally have fun with this game without spending, and hopefully that's how you guys look at things too, where if you don't have $2,000 a month to spend, or even $200 a month to spend, or even $20 a month to spend, hopefully you guys can still have fun with it. And I would say, if you are looking to get into spending money or something like that, probably the best 2 things to get would be the collector's card, that $5 a month, the sigil, and then maybe spending here or there on like the biggest sale days, which would be like 4th of July, Cyber Weekend, Deadpool spring cleaning, and the gifting event. Those are probably like the biggest 4 or something. But still, either way, I just found this to be really interesting. And yeah, shout out once again to my good buddy Enzo, one of the nicest guys around. He even gave me a crystal that he won at Comic-Con, guys. Probably the coolest functional piece of of a collector's item related to this game. And yeah, he just gave it to me. He won it at Comic-Con, was like, here you go. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, what a guy. But again, I'm gonna link his video so you can hear his perspective on things, the way that he's thinking about the game, and how his spending relates to it. That'll be at the top of the description and in the top of the comments, so you guys can check it out for yourself. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of breakdown, and thank you all very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care.